Hello everybody, thank you so much for watching Where with Sim again. Hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's video, we got a threat of severe weather to talk about, and we even have some winds that will be pretty gusty across the Ohio Valley, getting into places like the East Coast. I will be giving you guys a lot of information about how the winds will be, and the winds seem to even be a lot higher as you do head on the East Coast, at least in the Atlantic Ocean, and we will talk about that. But first of all, we do actually have an unusual threat of severe weather across places like Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York City, getting into Long Island. The reason why this is unusual is because we don't usually see severe weather threats up north during the winter, and I probably did say that in the last video, but we actually don't usually see severe weather threats during the winter. And the reason why is because it would usually stay cold throughout the entire winter in these areas, and so the main focus would be snowstorms. But since we are seeing warmer than normal temperatures, we are seeing a chance for severe weather. So the main threat is wind, so at least you guys only have one hazard to worry about, and as you guys can probably see, that's just the wind threat for today. That's only 5%, so pretty low threat overall, but still, since we are seeing a severe weather threat, it is still considered unusual because we could definitely be seeing a severe thunderstorm warning or two, but hopefully it's not across New York City. Now, we're going to go ahead and show you guys the excessive rainfall outlook. Well, actually, it wasn't showing any outlook for day 1 or 2, or I mean day 2 and 3, because I can probably see it doesn't show anything for day 2 or 3, but this one actually did show things for both day 2 and 3, and as you can probably see for today, we do have a slight risk for flash flooding across New York City, getting into the capital of Connecticut, getting into Albany, New York, getting into Concord, New Hampshire, and then up here into Maine, including Augusta, which is also the capital of Maine. So if you guys do live in those areas, I would definitely be on high alert for some flash flooding. That even includes portions of that marginal risk we were just talking about, which was issued for today, just in case you were curious. But if we do also look out west, we actually are seeing a chance for flash flooding too as well today. It is marginal, so you might not need to be on extremely high alert, but you would still need to watch for at least an inch of rainfall or so in these areas, including almost San Francisco. Now, as we look at day 2, like I said, the Weather Prediction Center wasn't showing any outlook for day 2, it wasn't showing a day 2 outlook on Privotal weather, and that's what I should have said. But on the Weather Prediction Center excessive rainfall outlook, it is showing a marginal risk for flash flooding across places like San Jose, getting into places like San Francisco, up towards places like Eureka, and even Reading. So places like that are definitely included in a chance for flash flooding tomorrow as well. So like I said, you don't need to be on extremely high alert when you have a marginal risk, but you still need to at least take it a little bit serious, okay? But on day 3, we actually do have a marginal risk for flash flooding as well, heading from Los Angeles up towards almost San Francisco, but just south of that. But on day 4 will be our next big concern compared to today, and as you can probably see, we do have a slight risk for flash flooding across Los Angeles, getting to Long Beach, even Simi Valley. Yeah, I think it's Simi Valley, and then even a few other areas included in the slight risk. So we would have to really watch on day 4 closely as well, especially if you compare it to today. But I mean, still, definitely be on high alert for day 4 if you do live in Los Angeles. That will be from Thursday into Friday, which will almost be on the weekend, but also on day 5, that does shift off east, and it will include Arizona next. Now, we're going to go back to where we were before, and we were pretty much right here. I'm just going to close that one so I don't get confused where I'm at. But we're going to go ahead and show you guys the alerts, and as you guys can probably see, we got several alerts across the East Coast, and we even got more than what it's showing on this one. And as you guys can probably see, definitely quite a bit of high wind warnings in effect for Maine, even getting into Cape Cod, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and even Long Island. I did look at these high wind warnings, and they actually showed that 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are expected, and so this is definitely going to be a big concern, especially if 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are expected. But even across places like Indiana, I did heard that they could see some gusty winds, and we will talk about that after we look at the pattern changes. But even back towards Ohio and Kentucky, getting into eastern Indiana, and then even northern Indiana, actually seeing a winter storm warning actually. But even those areas I was just talking about are seeing winter weather advisories in effect, but even a dense fog advisory across places like Salt Lake City and pretty much west of it, but still is staying in the state of Utah. But even back here into California, seeing some wind advisories in effect, it looks like. But even back here in the Indiana and even Iowa, actually seeing some wind advisories in effect as well. So we would definitely have to pay attention to that. But I'm pretty sure about 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts is what's going to be the main concern. But even back in the places like East Chicago, Indiana is definitely seeing a high or a wind advisory in effect, so I would definitely be on high alert in both Iowa, southern Minnesota, getting into Indiana. Now, as we do take a look at the pattern changes, and like I said, we'll take a look at the wind gusts after this, and as you guys can probably see, the entire United States is included in above average, especially the Ohio Valley, Midwest, and Great Lakes region. But if we look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, same thing, but the chances do go smaller and even stay way farther north, so that's definitely something to be aware about too as well. But if we do look at the precipitation, we are actually seeing a really big area of above average, and to be honest, it actually does shift off more east too as well, but it does include places like southern Nebraska, getting into southern Kansas, getting into places like Colorado, at least the eastern part of Colorado, getting in the Panhandle, Oklahoma, and even Texas, but even northeast New Mexico included in a chance for flash flooding, and that's the same thing for places like, even the same thing for places like western Illinois, getting into Indiana, definitely seeing a chance for above average precipitation. But I mean, this is definitely something to be aware about, because I pretty much want to see most of the United States is seeing above average, besides places like Montana, Idaho, getting into North Dakota, and then back through Maine is seeing below average precipitation, at least slightly below. So it is something to be aware about. But if you live south of those areas, definitely be on high alert for anywhere from slightly above to pretty much above to well above. So I would definitely be aware of that. And I forgot to show you guys the 8 to 14 day outlook on the precipitation. As you guys can probably see, both the west coast and the east coast are seeing so slightly above average precipitation, but this one does extend into the Ohio Valley and even portions of the Midwest and even Dixie Alley. Now, we're going to go ahead and show you guys the winds now, and as you guys can probably see, as of right now, winds are being pretty gusty across Wisconsin, getting into Illinois, where we are seeing about 33-mile-per-hour wind gusts across Chicago area. But we're going to go ahead and take this forward now, and as you guys can probably see, those wind gusts do increase pretty good, at least very significantly, as we do head into the mid part of the day. But if we look at the GFS model, we did actually just show you guys the Euro model, just in case you're wondering, but now we're going to look at the GFS model, and we're going to go back to where we were, and as you guys can probably see, it says as of right now, winds are gusting up to 30 mile per hour, pretty much down here towards Evansville. But as we continue to take that forward, they continue to increase a little bit, but they pretty much stay near the same. At least that's what the GFS model is showing, is that we'll see see 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts as of right now throughout the early afternoon hours, but then it will die down. So we'll have to keep watching about that, but we're actually going to see what the NAM model thinks on the wind gusts. And as you guys can probably see, the NAM model is actually showing way less than 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts across these areas. And I mean, it's definitely still something to watch for. At least some 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts is still something to watch for, but definitely be aware of it if you do live in places like Indiana, even Evansville, getting into all of Illinois. Now we're going to look at the icon model. Let's see what it shows. And as you guys can probably see, actually showing a little bit more significant wind gusts across places like Robinson, Illinois, seeing about 35, but even up here into places like Portland, Indiana, definitely seeing up to 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So definitely some more gustier winds with the icon model. So it sounds like we are going to have a better chance of seeing 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts because with the Euro, GFS, and the icon model, 3 out of the 5 models showed that we were going to have 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts or more, while the NAM and the HRR model showed that we were going to stay under 30 miles per hour, at least in this area that I'm on right now. So we will likely see 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts because most of the models showed that we would be seeing pretty much over 30. So yeah. Now we're going to go ahead and show you guys the radar now. We're going to go ahead and take this forward, and I did hear we could see some scattered snow showers as far east as southwest Indiana, including Evansville, so I would definitely watch for that. It will even be windy at that time, but no blizzard warnings expected at that time. Just some breezy snow flurries, pretty much. I mean, just some breezy snow flurries, but definitely no travel impact. So it will just be some light ones with some flurries. But as you continue to take this forward, we'll see a snowstorm across pretty much the western Ohio Valley, or I mean the eastern Ohio Valley is what I meant to say. And then that will continue to head into New England. But as we continue to take that forward, we'll continue to see another storm system type setup move through places like Dixie Alley that could bring a small threat for severe weather. Okay, you can probably see it is strong at times, but that definitely doesn't last forever. But as we also continue to take this forward, we'll definitely be seeing a bigger storm system move through these areas that could definitely bring another severe weather threat. So it depends, but we will have to keep watching because, I mean, we're going extremely far out, so things do seem to be going like at least not very likely. At least the storm system that we were just talking about doesn't seem to be very likely because we actually are heading all the way out. But we still will have to watch closely with some of these, and that's pretty much what you should do whenever you see a storm system like this. Just pay attention to it, even though it is pretty late. Even though the storm is going to occur very late is probably what I should say, because as you can probably see, it heads all the way to the 372 hour, which is probably like 2 weeks out. So that's a pretty long time out. So you don't need to worry about it right now, but I would at least watch it. Okay, at least watch that storm system, and we'll see how it plays out. Now we're gonna look at your precipitation, and as you guys can probably see, California seeing about 2 inches of rain. Even isolated spots in California have pretty much seen over 8 inches of rain. But even back to the slight risk that we were talking about on day 4, and we're pretty much already heading past day 4, we actually are seeing some pretty good rainfall across those areas. About 2 inches or so of rain could be possible. But even back to Illinois, Missouri, places like eastern Kansas, getting to eastern Oklahoma, eastern Texas, all Louisiana, and Arkansas, pretty much seeing beneficial amounts out there. So it is something to be aware about, but even through parts of New England also have to be aware too as well. Okay, so just be on high alert for that, and also watch closely. Okay, so definitely watch. Now we're gonna go ahead and show you guys the total snowfall now, and I pretty much had the same amount of time out as I did on the precipitation, which is all the way to the 150 hour, which is all the way till pretty much Christmas Eve. And as you guys can probably see, we actually are are seeing lots of snowfall for the California mountains and even the Rocky Mountains area. But even back here through New England, we actually are seeing as high as 3 inches of snowfall, while Ohio, pretty much the entire area of Ohio, getting about an inch of snow. But even back through places like Indiana could even see almost 2 inches of snow, okay? But if we do take a look at our temperatures now, we're going to go all the way back to the beginning, and as you guys can probably see, we'll start to see a significant cool down move through these areas, bringing temperatures pretty much in the lower 20s. Some areas could even get into the teens too as well, so that is something to be aware about. But even as far down south as places like, wow, are you kidding me? Wow, places like Birmingham seeing pretty much 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is going to be very, very cold in those areas, guys. Very, very cold. So it is something to be aware about. But as we continue to take this forward, we will still continue to see our temperatures be near freezing for another day. But then we'll start to see our warm up move in, and it will definitely bring some pretty good temperatures to a lot of the Ohio Valley, getting into the deep south. And I mean, it is something to still watch for. Okay, you can probably see we actually are seeing almost 60 degrees, or pretty much at 60 degrees in places like Newburgh and Evansville, Indiana. But if we could also continue to take this forward, we actually are seeing just continuing to stay warm for quite a while, guys. Just well above average temperatures, and to be honest, almost 60 degrees again in places like Indiana. Pretty much near 60 is what could be possible. But if we continue to take this forward, we might start seeing cold air move through again. As you can probably see, very cold air actually moving through, bringing temperatures near freezing all the way down. But as we head all the way to the end of it, the GFS model is showing a significant cool down, which could bring extreme Arctic blasts. So we'll have to watch that closely. But thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys did like my video. If you guys haven't watched my Christmas forecast, you guys can go ahead and click on it and watch it now. It will pretty much pull up on your screen. So if you guys haven't watched that already, you guys can go ahead and watch it. Also, don't forget to click that subscribe button down below, and please follow that image, and please like the video too as well, so that will definitely help a lot. But thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll do one tomorrow.